I look like I have like antennae because these basking lights are popping right out of my head. What is up, guys? It is the Turtle Girl. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be cleaning my canister filter for the first time in probably embarrassingly long time. I think the last time I cleaned my Fluval FX4 was probably just after Nemo passed away, which was at the beginning of this year. So it's been probably at least 8 months. Now I know that sounds like a long time, but I will say that I've been doing my water changes very consistently throughout this period. Ammonia, nitrite, and nitrates are all stable, and really what's prompting this cleaning is that, well, for one, obviously it's been a long time, but I've noticed that the flow rate of the output of the filter has started slowing down a bit. So that's a sign that the filter's probably pretty full and it just needs some cleaning, need to get all of the gunk out of there. Frankly, canister filters should probably be cleaned every 2 to 4 months. I'm just really bad at it because when it's out of sight, out of mind, and you can't necessarily see the gunk that's in there, but I know it is time for a cleaning, so we are going to get on to some of that maintenance today, and I'm going to walk you through it so that you can see how I clean my disgusting canister filter. Alright, so check out under here, there's a big black space, but watch this. Well, first let me take you down here for a minute. You can see a little bit better. Voila! Alright, so this is the area underneath my tank. You can see that there's quite a bit of stuff under here. So I have to clear all this out so that I can actually access my canister filter. There's no additional shelves in here, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but that's what we have. I kind of just have everything organized into buckets and things. And ready? 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! Just kidding. This is actually, it's not attached to anything, obviously. This is my old canister filter, a Cascade 1000. I used to run this on the 29-gallon. I haven't repurposed it for the 40-gallon yet. That's something I've thought about, but it doesn't really fit up there right now. Maybe in the future, though. I'm still holding on to this. It's a great filter. Alright, so now if I bring you around this way, here you can see my Fluval FX4 canister filter. This is the intake tube, this is the outtake tube. The first thing I'm going to do is actually close this intake pipe, wait a few seconds, close the outtake pipe, and then unplug the filter. The reason I'm going to do this is so that most of the water in the filter can be pumped out of the tank by the outtake pipe without taking anything in, and then that way when we take it outside to clean, there's not too much water left inside of this filter. Alright, so now with the filter detached, I'm going to go ahead and take it outside so that now we can clean it. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is empty the rest of the water out in this filter because there's still a good deal of water in it. So to do that, I'm gonna twist it to the side. And you see this little cap here? I'm gonna make sure this is closed. Open my little cap here. Attach my extra piece of siphon. Now notice here that my filter is higher than my bucket. That is so that the water will actually drain. You want the water source to be higher than whatever you're trying to drain it to, because that's just kind of how gravity-fed water things work. Make sure this is in the bucket. I'm going to turn this valve, and you can see there goes all of the water draining into the bucket. There it goes. You can already see that a lot of this water is quite gross. Alright, with most of that drained, I'm going to go ahead and shut this valve off and take out my tube. And now, look at that, right here we have a bucket full of tank water that we can use to rinse out all of our filter media. So now to open up the filter. Now I should be able to pop these down. And there is my filter. So you can see here that this filter is very rich in a lot of detritus and waste that has been collected. So now this all has to get cleaned out. Now keep in mind, you want all of your filter media to stay wet because if it dries out, that'll kill the beneficial bacteria. So I'm going to go ahead and start with these middle containers. These middle containers have all of the biomedia. You can see there's some bio rings. So what I'm going to do is take all of these trays out. I'll move this body off to the side. It looks like it's about to rain. I really hope it doesn't rain on me. Okay, we're gonna start with the middle stuff. And we're just going to essentially just rinse it out. You can see that this media is very, very saturated, so it's definitely about time for a cleaning. So once I rinse this out as well as I can, what I have over here is a bucket of clean tank water. I'm going to put this in. This will also help clean it some more, but it also helps keep this stuff kind of wet. And here's another tray of biomedia, so I'm just going to rinse this out in here and then put it in here. And I usually go from the middle layers and then do the big layers last because these are the finer filter pads, so in theory they have less dirt in them. But if you let them get this dirty, you know, it's all kind of going to be gross. Now for these big bad boys. So these are the big filter media pads. You can see they are densely saturated with all of the nasties. So these most definitely have to get rinsed out very well. And you can see the difference between this and this, which is an unrinsed one. So you can see it makes a really big difference just to rinse it out, even if the water's already dirty. I'm probably gonna get some more fresh tank water to clean this out some more, but first I'm gonna rinse out all of these pads with the first initial rinse. Alright, so now that the media is all rinsed out, you can see that the media trays are still a little bit gunky along with, I almost dumped that on me, along with the actual media bucket. So I'm going to go ahead and just rinse these out with water from the garden hose because I'm not trying to really save any of the beneficial bacteria in here. Alright, so now that all of the media has been washed out, you can see it here in this bucket with tank water. I'm going to go ahead and dump out all of this tank water and get some more fresh tank water just to rinse everything one more time because this is still a little bit dirty. Alright, so we have more fresh tank water here to rinse out the media. It's also interesting to note that the tank water is a little bit yellow. This is partially because of the tannins of the wood inside the tank, but also, as you saw, all of that debris inside the filter is partially also what's causing the water to kind of just get stained this dirty brown. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse everything out again. And you can see just how much cleaner these filter media pads appear. So I'm going to go ahead and take these filter trays and start reassembling. Alright, so now to reassemble the filter, I'm going to stick these in like this. And then we take our tower and line it up like so. Should sit in there nicely. And then we have the top with the tube right here. And you can see that this tube is going to go on this side, and this tube is going to line up on this side. Should line up nice and snug. These get all put back up. And then we're going to just tighten these down righty-tighty, a little at a time. Kind of like the hubcaps on a car, it's good to go backwards if you can. And make sure I remember to put this little guy back on. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and take the pipes and reattach them until we see like that little click. If you saw the little red thing, it kind of pushes outwards and then goes back in. And then click into place. Okay, so now with those done, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the in pipe. When you do this, you can hear the water flow. You can see some of the bubbles coming out of the intake over there. And now we're going to go ahead and open the outtake pipe. And you can see more air is coming out, and that is because the filter is filling with water. Alright, so all of that very dramatic bubbling is because this filter is filling up with a bunch of water and the air is escaping. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take my plug and plug this into the power strip over here. You can hear that kind of get started. And now all my plants are gonna blow all around the tank because they just got uprooted. So you can see here that the tank is now fairly cloudy. This is perfectly normal because obviously you just cleaned out everything in the filter, so now anything that's in there that's like debris is kind of loose. And so of course it's going to release some of that into the tank. It's okay for it to look cloudy a couple days after. You might even experience a bacterial bloom depending on if you killed your beneficial bacteria or not. Hopefully you didn't. That's why we tried to wash everything with tank water. You can see this Anubias is less than happy. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but the current is a lot stronger right here. You can see that the flow is going a lot faster. You can see the current kind of coming out of the outtake right here. Keep in mind that when you change the water in the canister filter, you are actually taking out some of the tank water. And so to account for that, make sure you top it off a little bit so that you end up with the same amount of water in the tank that you started with. So this tank should clear up in a couple of hours. Hopefully we've avoided any bacterial blooms by washing the media in the tank water, but you know, we'll see. I'm just happy to have a clean canister filter. Hopefully I won't have to touch this for a couple more months. I mean, at least the filter. I obviously still doing water changes and all those things, but if you want to see more on how to do water changes, things like that, I have other videos if you click the link up here. I should also mention that you should definitely wash your hands really well with warm hot water, yes, warm water and soap after you are done with everything with the tank, because you had a bunch of turtle poop on your hands and you probably don't want to get salmonella. Also, huge shout out to the patrons who helped decide what video would be posted today. You guys are the best. If you want to learn more about how you can support the channel and the videos that I'm making, definitely check out my Patreon. There's also some cool perks there as well. And also, show your support by hitting the thumbs up down below if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all next Friday. Have a totally awesome day. Bye!